Okay. Let's try to jump in on that. Whatever zeitgeist or
That
whatever they call
mojo.
it.
Yeah, put
Yeah,
that
yeah,
mojo
yeah,
to work.
Mojo. So I don't know. Maybe there's something going on with that. I haven't heard anything about it. I'm sure Tony would have heard something from one of his pals.
The thing I never understood about Major Matt Mason, and like was my father actually pointed it out to me. Was he goes, "Yeah, I have a spacesuit. You got a space helmet. Where's the oxygen pack?" And
Yeah. What is it that like that little square on his chest? What is that like so I actually made up, I think I remember as a kid I took like two corks. I think it was corks. Yeah. And I kind of made something up like with tape and stuck it on his back and I said there's no way he's going to be walking around the moon without some oxygen tanks.
yeah, I remember he had. I mean, he had the jetpack. I remember
Oh, I
that.
had that. Yeah, yeah, he had
Yeah,
that.
the
Well,
jetpack
maybe
was
there's a
just
little
random.
oxygen in there. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I got back and all that stuff, and I
Mhm.
actually what I did at the last Winterfest is that there's another good friend of mine, Jim Alexander, another guy we should probably get on because he's a super fan, with all this stuff. And anyways, I know he had a nice Major Matt Mason collection, and so I asked him, well, can you bring it to the show? And so, and I said, yeah, I'll scan it. I'll basically scan in.
oh, that's the
Mhm.
yeah, that's a scan that I saw at Jersey Fest. You did
Yeah,
a
yeah,
you
yeah.
did
Oh, yeah, yeah,
thing the Major
yeah.
Matt Mason.
Oh,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And so I
that's
actually I
cool.
scanned that one from one of my own Major Matt Masons that I actually had,
Okay.
but I asked Jim if he could bring like his Callisto, which was kind of like the Major Matt Mason's green buddy from Jupiter or something, and he brought in like a couple of things and actually, oh, it's funny. I just and so I scanned in a bunch of stuff, and so what I did was is that I printed that all up and I made some Christmas ornaments out of like Callisto's head and stuff like that,
Oh, cool.
and I send it. I'll send you one if you want one, but yeah. But anyway, that was kind of like my thing last year. It's kind of like, okay, I'll make like ornaments and things like that, but speaking of this is probably my
Oh,
next,
the power loader.
yeah, the power load, which
Nice.
this
That's pretty
was
cool.
this is mine from when I was a kid actually. uh, God, going back, 68, 69.
Yeah.
So, but so the but actually, it's funny that with this power loader, that I always felt like this was actually the inspiration for the thing that Ripley uses in
Oh,
the,
oh, yeah, yeah.
when I saw it on screen, I said that's the
Mhm.
Major Matt Mason thing. There's no way that could not have been inspired by this thing. So this thing is it's a little rough shape, but it's
It had like a little winch on the back with a hook, right?
yes, yes, it does. Yes, it does. I
Yeah,
still have
yeah, I
the
remember that.
so, but yeah, I mean, this is the stuff that really made captured your imagination when you're a kid, and it.
I caught on the Major Matt Mason. My um, my uncle worked for Mattel,
Really? Oh my God!
and he was a mold maker.
Holy
So
crap!
he brought me to the plant one time to see the Major Matt Masons made, and
Really?
I was hooked from there. I was like,
Wow!
"This is so," and it was like it was the injection molding of the rubber and all this other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
was telling me about the moles
The
and
armature and all that
Oh
stuff.
man,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember um, the the um, the heads or the faces were actually printed,
Hmm.
so they had all these heads on an assembly line just going do, 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 and the thing would just like and it would like press or it would like paint or print maybe 20 at a time,
Really?
and
Wow!
okay.
and the
Cool.
plant churned out like I think they said that they made 25,000 in a day.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Wow! Wow! Well,
And there was just but then there were the ones that the ones I got were the ones that were slightly deformed.
Oh,
Like it had, kind of like a rip in the
oh,
space,
the
maybe like a
rejects.
missing arm.
Yeah, you got the rejects.
The rejects, yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong. Hey, this is probably worth more money now than but you still have it.
Probably.
It's like the stamp printed backwards or whatever. Something.
Yeah, so sometimes because at the end, at the end of a like an injection molding run, they would have to put more of like the slag in,
Yeah.
and they'd have to use everything that they had for that run. So then you'd have
Right.
Yeah.
you'd have amputee, you'd have like a couple of amputee astronauts,
Yeah.
didn't have that, but I mean it would have it would have the armature in it, and then it wasn't fully cured, and then they just take them out, they pop them out, whatever, and then they throw them into a thing that like would chop them up, but then they would have to, but yeah, it was pretty cool. He did a lot of. He worked for, oh my gosh, he worked for Mattel, Remco,
yeah.
Marx,
Yeah.
Hasbro,
Ideal? Did he work for Ideal?
Aurora. Yes, Ideal. Yes,
Yeah.
Ideal.
Yeah.
He made the monkey guns. Remember the monkey guns? The monkey monkey attack unit.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Those rifles were the inspiration for the season 1 Lost in Space rifles. That's what they used. They used that.
Yeah.
And then the pistol was actually the laser pistol from Lost in Space season 1.
Wow.
But he made all the. I used to get, and then his one mold that he designed the case for the Hot Wheels, the one that looked like a big tire.
Oh,
and
I had
you
that.
opened it up
Yeah.
and you put all the cars around, and then you put like the little medallions in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Little
Yeah,
pins in the middle.
like slots, like going like like around like a wheel of fortune kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was his mold, and then he
Wow.
also did. I think at the end. At the end of his time there, the last thing he did was the juice machine. Remember, for the Sizzlers?
Oh yes.
Sizzlers were They were like
Yeah,
rechargeable hot
battery,
wheels.
and they had like a mini
Right.
jack. You
And
plug
then the juice machine was like, it looked like a big gas pump.
right.
And it had like 4D batteries. It used 6 volt to charge up the little Sizzler. And it had the little
Yeah.
That was all. That was all.
Nice. Okay.
I had one of those things, and I was like, how do they get the battery stuff from there into the car? And I was like, is there another little battery in there? How does that work? I didn't tear it apart or anything, but boy, I was tempted to, because I was wondering how, because it wasn't like gas, but when you're 7 years old, and you're wondering, like, how does this thing actually work?
Well, I had the other one, the timer. There was it was like it looked like a restaurant, and you would take the Sizzler and just plug it in on the side. So it looked like kind of like a pit stop, and it had this little thing on the top, little rotunda. You would turn it, and it was a timer that would actually time the recharge time.
Wow.
To I think it was like
Okay.
I think like maybe like 10 or 20 minutes or something like that. I remember that.
Talk about that's a little bit of foresight there. It's kind of like a Tesla charging station.
Yeah. And then because I remember he brought me some Sizzlers, and then Mattel came out with something called Hotline, which was a train. It was a rechargeable train, and it had it drove on the same tracks as the Hot Wheels tracks.
Oh, that's a genius.
It was called Hotline, but it was a rechargeable. It was like it looked like a futuristic train.
Wow. You mean like Super Train?
It looked just like Super Train. That's what the engine looked like. It was yellow. It had black windows on it. It was really cool, and it was rechargeable, and it had the big wheels and everything. But I think that was like the last thing that he ever designed and then made, and I think he went over to Aurora. He was working for Aurora for a while.
On Long Island?
Yeah. I remember he brought me to the plant. The one plant was down in Newark. I remember.
Oh, that what Aurora had a plant in Newark?
No. Sorry, Mattel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh,
Mattel. Yeah, Mattel
everybody.
had one
Yeah,
down.
that I'd say that drive like as you drive into Newark,
Yeah.
it's like all these factories that I mean, they're turning them into lofts and stuff now, or either that or they're mysteriously burning down. It's kind of strange. It's like we've had like 2 or 3 like really big fires, last couple of years. But yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like accidentally on purpose. But
yeah. Well, Newark. I'm sure that there's probably reasons for that. I'm sure. It's like Newark. Yeah. We no problem with the chemicals or anything. We'll just yeah. It's oof. but yeah.
yeah,
No.
I was. Yeah, it was really. I think he also worked for Eldon Toys. Remember Eldon?
Yeah. Oh, with
Billy
that-
Blastoff.
Billy Blastoff. Yes.
Billy Blastoff. Yeah,
Yeah.
worked on all those.
Wow, man! I didn't know that. That's very.
Yeah, he
I'm sure
he
it
got around. I mean,
Wow.
I think the last job he ever had, he worked for BASF.
Uh-huh.
That was that was like the last job before he retired. But he was. I mean, but I had the 12-inch GI Joes.
Yeah,
when
me
I was
too.
a kid, the 12-inch ones, not the
Yeah.
6-inch.
I was like, when that 6-inch when things came out, I was like, what is this crap? That's not. Tell
See, I grew up with the. See, that's the ones I grew up with, the 6-inch ones. I didn't.
Okay, I'll hold back.
It had Cobra. It had Cobra.
So yeah,
So
so the ones I
It had to be like an enemy with that.
They did
yeah,
have
that's the ones I had.
interesting
So
backstory. They definitely had a more interesting backstory. I give them that. So it's-
no, honestly,
Yeah,
I was a little bit pissed because I wanted to get the 12-inch ones, but still I had to get the little tiny 6-inch ones. I was mad. I was mad as hell.
Did those come out like after the those came out? They started making those like after the Star Wars figures came out, and because like when I remember when the Star Wars figures came out, they were like these little things. And I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah,
Actually, I think they came out around the same time.
Yeah.
I think.
So
But-
that whole Star Wars figure size change screwed up, action figures for a long time. I thought, it's like, but they did have the Micronauts. We did have the Micronauts. Those were-
Micronaut.
I love
Very good toy.
Yeah,
Interchangeable toy.
yeah.
And you can take them apart and you can make other toys out of
Did
them.
a lot of stop motion with those things because they were like fully articulated. And stuff. And they were cheap, so you just make little. You just blow them up, stick, tie a firecracker to them, and action.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those toys. I never had the Marks tank, the Tiger Joe tank. Like I never had it.
Yes.
Yeah, I did remember.
Well, that was actually wasn't Marks. That was actually General Reading made those. Marks
Oh,
had
really?
a Bulldog tank. I have one of those too, but those are only like about so big. I don't know if those were ever used on a Jerry Anderson show or not, but
the Tiger Joe tank was used on UFO. That was
UFO,
the
Thunderbird.
basis for the mobiles.
Oh, they used it. They used it for almost everything. I think like Thunderbird's on. Yeah. Because it's huge. It's a huge thing, and they used it for like I think it was like the Crab Logger and the Unitron tank on in Scarlet. But
Yeah, and Captain Scarlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about Captain Scarlet because everything was a model. Like every scene was a model.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
And it's extremely
Nice.
violent. Extremely violent for a kid show. It's like it was I'm sorry we're kind of tangential in today's discussion, but it's like I remember because I never saw that as a kid, and I saw Thunderbird, Supercar, and the other and UFO obviously, but I never saw Captain Scarlet until like sometime in the '90s when they started showing them on channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was watching this, you got shooting people, everybody's dying. There's like at least 3 or 4 people dying, every
People
episode.
smoking.
Yeah, smoking, drinking,
If you-
hard liquor. Like,
the
this is a
puppets are
kid's show.
smoking. I'm like, okay, it's
crazy stuff.
As it, at that time, you don't think anything of it because it's just normal.
yeah, it was
right.
normal just to do all that
exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
But now you look at it again, and you're like, wait, what the hell?
Well, they did that in Captain Scarlet when they had like the world president go on like the conveyor belt, and they had the guys with the machine guns, and all of a sudden, his cigarette case comes out, and like and like the case opens up and the cigarettes come out, and you're like, and as a kid, you're like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
Well, I guess back then, I don't know if they had cigarettes as sponsors back then, but that was always something that with sponsors back in the day before they outlawed the advertising tobacco on television, was that the characters in the show all had to smoke because
Right.
usually the sponsor was I don't know what's the name?
Was some brand of cigarette, yeah.
Yeah, some
So-
brand of cigarette, and
Pall Mall.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, the Lucky
Walmart.
Strike or
Or-
whatever, it's
Or Marlboro.
yeah.
Marlboro was if you were like a cowboy.
Yeah.
They had like that cowboy
Yeah.
motif
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I wonder what Rod Serling smoked, because boy, he whatever it was.
Oh my God.
he smoked a lot of them. It was almost like
That he did, yeah.
yeah. It was like almost every episode. He's there standing with a cigarette. Even as a kid, I'm just wondering why are you standing there with the cigarette? You're talking right. So unfortunately, that's what did him in at such a young age. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. And sometimes when you're a kid, you look at it, you see somebody like that with a cigarette, you say, that's the
Yep.
coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And he's just there, just chilling, just like, oh, this is Rod Serling. It
Yeah, it's
just
like-
has a cigarette, just going, just
he's like emphasizing, with this with the cigarette.
with.
Yeah, no, I've been kind of on a Rod Serling kick this past couple of weeks, because I've been writing. There's this British horror magazine publisher that they publish these books, where it's basically, people like us, we'll take like a subject or a film or a television show, and we'll do like a write up on it, basically like some memories mixed with whatever, like any facts you might find or personal reminiscences, or if some of the people that were actually in some of these things, and so lately I've been working on the Night Gallery.
Night
Oh.
Gallery.
Yeah, which was kind of in the show was kind of hit or miss sometimes. It had some silliness to it, but anyway, yeah. So I've been reading up a lot on Rod Serling and his. That's another very interesting story. The difference between Twilight Zone and the Night Gallery, because it really was not Rod Serling's Night Gallery. It was really had his name on it, but he had almost nothing to do with the show almost. And yeah, anyway, that's another topic. Yeah. Oh, but anyhow, so what's happening with you guys? I've been talking too much.
I just didn't want to become Babylon George. I was. I'm working on, and I did this 20 years ago, and now I have to do it again.
Oh, is this? Oh, the captain's chair. Yeah.
I have to make one for Gilbert. The Gilbert
really?
one.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then I have to make an Emperor throne room chair for Gretchen.
So
So that's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah.
so
The captain's chair.
the only thing I got is just that little
Oh, nice.
that little deal right there. The start of my D&D kind of minis that I started doing. I have to paint it, but see, it's a dwarf, just a generic kind of dwarf fighter type of thing. And if you notice, it has a brick. He's carrying a brick because because it's a running joke with me, James, is that, and it all started with a Superplex party, and which my whole thing is that if you want to win a fight, you carry a brick.
Oh, yeah.
You smack them with a brick. You always want to fight because and no matter anything you've ever
I can
seen,
verify that fact.
Yeah,
I can
and-
validate that fact.
yeah, and no matter anything that you've ever seen,
Yeah.
The dude with the brick always wins.
Or at least he walks away from whatever it is that
Right.
happened.
Say, even walking away, you win
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you got a brick.
Yeah. That will stop people in their tracks.
Yeah. And so that's always been a running gag is a brick.
Good man. Like, yes.
So you get a door for the brick. You never lose a fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's terrific. Now, is that a kit or did you 3D print that or?
I 3D printed it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause-
Was that? It looked like it was kind of like a clear resin, like a kind of a. Was it like a green clear resin or?
No, it's all black resin.
Oh,
but-
okay. Maybe it's just
yeah.
it's the light. It's probably
Yeah,
the light
but with
microphone.
the light on it, light and
okay.
microphone light on it. But
Very nice.
yeah,
Very nice. Cool. Now, is that something you designed, or is that a model you downloaded, or?
a little bit of both. Because I downloaded the model itself, just kind of, moved around and stuff like that, added stuff here and there. Yeah, but it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, that's
a little
the
bit
great
about
thing
yeah.
about, with this, if if you download something, if you don't like it, or you want to move it, change it up.
Yeah.
It's like you can do that. You're not.
I'm not limited to just like, I'm stuck with this. That I can,
Exactly.
I could change this right here, and I can add a horn. I could take a horn out. I could make it look like it's broken. So
Take a sword out of his hand, put a brick in his hand.
Brick got a brick in
exactly.
his hand.
Have a brick in his hand, right, or on his head. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and so again, I totally agree. Having the models there where you can download and edit from there, huge time saver, especially if you're in a crunch.
Yeah.
And but it's also, it gives you that little bit of extra satisfaction just knowing that, and in those little details that, in your head.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the because sometimes you'll download these things and you'll say, well, they got most of it right,
Yeah.
but they missed this or they missed that, and you can go in there and just change, add whatever's missing, or because I think for as an example, like the like that UFO interceptor, the cockpit was totally off. It was like it didn't have any any of the background details like the pilot stuff, and so going in there and so making adjustments and stuff like that, and it's that's the other thing too. It's like because like when I put a couple of like Major Matt Mason things I did up on Cults, like
Cult TV Man.
like Cult, yeah. Or no, well, not Cult TV Man, but Cults 3D.
Colts 3D. Yeah.
And the thing to me is like I like when I do something, it's like I don't put it up there and for like money or anything like that. I like just put it out there for free.
Yeah. Just because.
Yeah.
People that love
what I
it.
would like to see, but I haven't seen yet, is like you make these things for people, or you make these files, you put these files out there, and then you never see what they do with it.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, man. If you're gonna make something, you're gonna do it.
Show me something. I mean, dang.
See somebody who actually knows how to paint really well, actually do what it looks like under those circumstances, and that's probably the only that's the one thing I wish I could see more of. It's like because I made stuff for people like you don't know Stan Hyde. You don't know Stan Hyde, do you? Yes. But he's a friend of Eric Chu's. He lives out in Vancouver and a big Godzilla fan. He's kind of the guy that got me back into modeling, many years ago. But terrific modeler. But I've made him some stuff, but he's never built it up, any of the stuff I've made for him, which is really frustrating, 'cause
I may have some stuff for you, James. I have blue flexible LED filament.
Oh, really?
Ooh, nice.
So you could use that for Godzilla's tail and for his breath.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially for like the more recent ones. Or no, he had a kind of a bluish.
It was like a bluish whitish type of tend to it. But yeah,
Depends on which movie. I mean, it had like Shin Godzilla. I think it was like, or no, or was that the last one? Which I didn't see.
I think it's like
Yeah,
Godzilla.
like yeah, like
Godzilla 1 was, I think, was like more bluish.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Shin Godzilla, he like goes nuclear maybe,
Yeah,
and
laser beam.
Oh yeah.
he kind of looks like Doomsday. You know, he's got like those
Yes.
coming out.
Yeah, I love that movie, but that was the one part, the lasers coming out of his back. I wasn't so crazy about that part of it, but
The kryptonite prop, which I also have to make for Gilbert and for Gretchen. I made you one.
I got one. Yes.
I have to resculpt the back of it, so I will give you the I'll give you the updated one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because the chain is not the right chain. I finally found it on Amazon. I was like, oh, I got the right chain this time. Where is it? This is the two. See, this is the 2-inch plastic chain in silver.
Ah,
So I found that on Amazon.
Cool.
very nice. Yeah, it's amazing what you can. Yeah, I wish I didn't have to buy from Amazon, but sometimes
I know.
there's so many
Yeah.
things. I wish I didn't have to do this, but I guess it's like Google Maps. It's like I guess I gotta, because I'm just so used to working with it. So I'll just stay away from from the Gulf region. So I'm sorry, man. I pick so much political stuff into this.
We're going down the political rabbit hole. That's
yeah,
okay.
I'll try not to do that. Yeah. Yeah. I probably.
I see. I'm
That
seeing the
well-
back of you on the shelf. You have a UFO.
Oh. Yeah. Sure do. Oh, that's actually interesting because actually I got a few things here. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is something that I started. I made a couple of these, but this is more like a prototype kind of thing. This is thing I modeled in.
So that's from the series of UFO.
Yeah. And this was printed up in clear resin, but it's when you print clear resin, it's not really it's clear. It's transparent. It's not
It's
really
clear-ish.
not
Yeah.
optically clear.
Did you want me to make it optically clear? I can make it
I would
optically
love
clear
for
for
you to
you.
make an optically clear version. I could send you the master.
Yeah, just send it to me. I'll make a mold of it, and then I can just like
If you got a
vacuum
pressure
out the mold.
plant.
I have clear
Yeah.
resin.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be wonderful, man.
Oh yeah.
I'd be
That'd be
friends.
awesome.
Oh, I'm your friend. That'd be
Your friend. Wait,
Yeah.
So I'll be your friend. Wait a minute.
I remember that the original UFO, the plates that are on the sides are guitar picks. They were
Yes.
guitar picks.
That's exactly what they are. It's like it's funny because I didn't even realize that until I started working on this, and then I posted a model up somewhere, and they said oh, you got the guitar picks. I said guitar picks. Wait a minute, these are guitar picks. It's
It's like, wait a minute, they're not guitar. Wait, they are guitar picks.
they are guitar picks. Yeah.
I didn't know until John McCallum told me that, and John McCallum was like, "Oh, did you know that they were guitar picks?" I was like, "No." And all of a sudden I was like, "Oh yeah, look at that, they're guitar picks." Okay,
Yeah.
I thought they just.
It's one of those you don't see them as guitar picks until somebody points it out and says, "Oh, those guitar picks."
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah.
wait, they are guitar picks.
But yeah. It's interesting because they I have that one, but I don't know if you've seen it, but they actually the Jerry Anderson. I'm sure you subscribe to them like on whatever Facebook or whatever, but they came out with their own version, like their limited edition, where they made up like 2,000.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Being a completed, even though I've got made these things myself, it's like I went ahead and ordered that thing, and it's really really nice. I got it downstairs, but it's out maybe next week or something. I'll show it out for that. But that was
Nice.
cool because it's got like it spins around. I mean, mine can spin around too, but this one's a lot more fluid, and it's a really nice. If anybody's interested in getting one of those, I'd really recommend ordering one. I mean, I think they're like $250, but for UFO, money's no object, for me. So, but yeah, that's
Yeah, I remember
Nice.
the Kits for Cash one was in scale with the mobile that they had,
yeah,
but
Mhm.
because Mark Craig and I were on Todd's Corner one time, and Mark actually showed us, the one that he built, and I was like, oh, I said, so how did you get the clear, dome, off that sprue? Because what it is, they gave you the clear dome, but it was vacuum formed over something,
yeah,
and then you basically had to contour cut it,
yeah,
and there were no pre-scored lines in it. You had to just do it all by yourself.
yep.
And he said there were a couple cracks in it, and I was like, really? He goes, yeah, it was just really horrible. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I still have my kit that I bought like 35 years ago from Comet Miniatures. Did you remember here?
Comet Miniature. Wow.
Oh man.
Back a ways. That was from England, Comet
Yeah,
Miniature.
yeah. Because I used to when I used to go to England fairly often. Back in the 90s and early 90s and anyway, I discovered that Comet Miniatures, and I was like, I could not believe such a place existed. It was a model shop. It's legendary. You walk into this place, and it's like all these model kits, because this is before like 3D printing and all this stuff, and you had all these garage kits, as they were called, and it was like of everything you could possibly imagine there, and of all these kits you wished Aurora had made, like back in the day.
Comet had the. I remember they had the 44-inch Eagle.
Yeah.
And they had the Skydiver, the full-size Skydiver.
Yeah. I got the regular. I had like their Skydiver kit, but just of the Sky One. I still have it. I was too afraid to build the thing because I said it's because like I'll never find another one of these, so I'm not going to build it. So
if you want to, you if you want other parts, you could give it to Eric Longstreet. He can make molds of it.
Oh, I don't.
And then you would have molds.
Now the 3D.
But I mean, you could scan it. Yeah, you could probably scan it.
Yeah. In fact, because like now there's like you can download those files, and they're better than, because this thing was like, you look at it, it's like it's very. I mean, these models they're pretty accurate, but they were very crude, and very little of it was actually cast in resin. It was mostly styrene, shrink.
Oh, really? Oh, vacuum formed styrene.
Vacuum formed, yeah. It was like vacuum formed hulls and stuff like that, and so
they warp over the years, yeah.
Yes, and things yellow. That's funny. You've seen like an old resin kit from like the 1990s or the 80s. You look at it now and you pull it out of the box, and the thing's like, it might have been white one day, but now it's like solid yellow now. And you're like, but
picked up so much moisture over the years.
Yeah,
I remember that.
But yeah, it's those are the interesting days. It's like, and those things were really expensive, because they're like handmade.
Oh yeah.
They're like
literally
made in somebody's garage, and he'd make up like a run of 10 of these things, and yeah. I mean, people had offered me like some big money too for some of these kits, and I said, no, I'm not selling. And now they're worthless, totally worthless. And, but at least I think so. I mean, it's like nobody would build a kit like this anymore. With everything else that you had the capability of doing. But at least I had it. I remember it was in my stash. I said, well, I've got that Shadow one. One of these days.
No, at this point now, it's just one of those kind of like, sort of like somebody would have to be like a super collector or like a niche collector or something like that. Then,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, who else would buy something like that? Unless it's me. I'm the only other person I know of that would.
No, and again, it'd be something like a niche collector would get, just for the simple fact to say, hey, I got this. It was like,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. It was,
I went over Eric Longstreet's house, the one time. I walked into his basement, or in the basement, and I was like, you have dude, this looks like a hobby shop. I mean, he had kits to the ceiling.
Yeah.
He gave, because I taught him how to mold stuff, so. And he gave me one of the Reliant kits, the 532nd. That's the 1/537 scale kits, the Ertl, AMT Ertl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
USS Reliant. And I'm like, so how many of these you have? And I'm looking, I'm like, dude, you got 10 of these kits, and they're still wrapped in the plastic. And he goes, here, take one. I was like, but dude, you got so many kits.
He's the same thing too, right?
He's got all the Star Wars Bandai kits, like 5 of every kit. He could create, all of the Rebel ships. He's got 5. I think he had like 5. Well, yeah, 5. 5 Y-wings.
Really?
10 X-wings,
Jeez.
and I'm like, man, it's like a. And he goes, yeah, I'm gonna build them someday. Well, dude, you better start now. You're gonna be dead by the time you finish that last one.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I totally know that. I totally get that, because I'm the same way. I've got had two or three of everything. It's like. Because my thought was, well, if you screw this one up, you got
another one, or you have spare parts.
Yeah, and then you got to have one just to keep it completely version, keep it in
right
in the shrink wrap. It's like I've got what was it? I've got like 3 or 4 do you remember back when who was it? They started reissuing some of those Aurora, Irwin Allen type kits and stuff like that, back in the, I guess it was like the early 90s. It was early 90s. Monogram or somebody they put out the Flying Sub and the
Revell started doing. I think it was Revell. No. It was Monogram.
Yeah,
it was Monogram.
So when those came out, I was like, oh my God, these things will never come out again. I bought 4 or 5 of them, so I've got I still have all these Invaders, the Flying Sub, the Sea View. God, I can't tell you how many Auroras or the Sea Views I have, like the little ones. But
I had done the Deadly Creature sculpt for the 39-inch Sea View, for Tony Pachetti Sea View.
Yeah,
I did want to do one for the 8-inch Sea View. That would have been really cool, like a smaller version.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because the stand that I made is I think Tony. Well, I made it for Tony's Sea View, so Tony actually has it. It's 3.5 feet tall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was solid. It wasn't solid film, but I mean, it had a PVC skeleton to put all of the wiring through for the eyes and for the Flying Sub. It's holding the Flying Sub.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. And I was like, I think I'd like to make a s'more one just to put on a desk and, not to have
a lot to be said for that. Yeah. That's, because especially when you're designing, at least when I'm an idea for making kit or whatever is that I always like to go big at first, and then you build the thing and you're just like, where the hell am I going to put this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
And my wife, I was like, I'm going to stick it here. My wife said, no, you're not putting it there. You're not putting I was like, can I put it there? No, you're not putting it there. So you've already got your Eagle and your Mobile and everything else. And, yeah.
Yeah. Dave, I was talking to Dave Evaldi. You met Dave.
Oh, yeah.
He said to me, he goes, are you going to do another Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea monster? And I said, yeah. He goes, which one were you thinking of? I said, I told this to Mark Myers in our show from last week. I said, I was thinking of building that scientist. Remember the scientist got real big?
With the
and he had
cardigan?
like the yellow sweater on.
Yeah, he had what they call it, the cashmere sweater. You know, that somehow magically, and he had the dime store fangs or whatever. Boy,
that's the one. That's the one I would love to. I would love to get that.
Oh
thing
yeah,
out, man.
that would be a real popular one, man. I got to tell you though, man, I remember seeing that originally when I was a little kid when that came on, scared the living shit out of me. I was just like, my face looking through the windows. And it says, you know, as your kid, it's like, I don't care if he's got a sweater on.
His sweater grew, his belt grew, his pants grew, his shoes grew, and I was like, okay, yeah. That's the one I would love.
Yeah, definitely.
I got to work on that one.
That would be cool. That'd be very cool. Yeah.
I'd like to get like a fuzzy yellow sweater just to put on him.
And I think somebody made, or you know, it'd be hard because he had like that little undersea lab thing, like
like the little lab, yeah. They make that,
cool.
yeah. They make that for the 39-inch Sea-View. Yeah. I have a 39-inch Sea-View, and I haven't put together yet, and that's what I was wondering. I was like, should I do Deadly Creature again? I was like, no, I already done that. I was like, maybe I should do that one.
You know what? Would be cool is to if you were to have make like a statue or whatever of it. You know, get it like a resin cast of it or whatever, or maybe stone, and you could actually use it for like a fish tank decoration. You can actually get in there and have the bubbles, fill up the sub, and the sub would go up and down, and that'd be awesome, man. And now you're talking. So yeah, think about that.
Was it Smooth On actually makes this new type of silicone?
Yeah.
That
so we'll kill the fish.
I have it right here. It's called Dragon Skin.
Oh, okay.
And they actually make like a food grade silicone that you can put into fish tanks.
Oh,
so you can make like sea anemones and stuff like that. And I mean, you could probably make like a Deadly Creature and put it into the fish tank. That would be really cool.
Yeah. Oh, now you get my ideas going now. It's like I don't have a fish tank. I always when I have to go to the pet store or like that, I always go check out what they got on the fish tank decorations, section of the pet store, because sometimes they get some pretty interesting things in there, some weird stuff, but yeah, maybe so think about that, man. Maybe get maybe that'd be a new line.
Yeah, man.
Fish tank ornament, Christmas tree ornaments and fish tank ornaments. So, yeah, we can go beyond just the static model kits. It's.
Yeah, because I don't know. I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I have a lot of foam. I could carve out foam.
Yeah.
I have a hot wire, with like rig for foam and stuff. I was like, you could do it in foam, and I basically just have to watch the episode like over and over and over again and go, okay, well, he has on a yellow sweater and he has on this, and then he has that like fake, like the fake dime store,
Yeah, the dime
store. It's kind of like the Wolf Man. And I'm like, okay, I think we do this.
I think Mark Maddox. I think Mark Maddox actually did a painting of that. That would make a great box art for you. I'll see if he did that. I know he did a couple of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea things, and I think. Yeah, because he had the same reaction about the sweater guy too. The stuff that scares you when you're a kid, man. I tell you, but yeah, that show when you look at it even now, it's like it's like they weren't making it for like adults. It was strictly for like 5, 6, 7-year-old boys. It's like that was their target demographic.
I remember reading an article in Starlog. It said every day was Halloween on the Sea-View. Every day was. I was like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember David Hedison was at one of the chiller conventions like long years ago, and I was talking to him, and I said, I said, so how was it like working with Richard Basehart and toward the end of the series, the scripts weren't so good. He goes, yeah, we kept getting confused. Who was the possessed guy? Oh, is it you possessed it, or is it me? I was like, who's the evil guy in this episode?
The best one was the werewolf when he
Oh,
turned
yeah.
into a werewolf. I'm like, okay, so all right, so Voyage of Sea has a Halloween episode. Okay.
Yeah, every episode.
So,
Well,
I was just thinking this at.
every episode.
I was just thinking this at that. How did they pick who's the bad guy this week? All right, rock paper scissors.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, you're the one. Or it's going to be what was that? I can't remember what that other guy's. Oh, anyway, never mind. Yeah, so I was thinking, the other guy that was the guy was always irritable, like not the what's on the Navy? It's not a sergeant, but like the chief.
Oh, the chief. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy. He was always like uptight about everything. Typical
Yeah.
kind of guy. But
not Chief Sharky. Was it Sharky?
Chief Sharky. That's his name.
Chief
Yeah.
Sharky.
Yeah.
I remember Ski. I remember meeting him
Oh, yeah.
one time. He was he was really cool.
Yeah, was that Del Monroe? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I met him. Yeah, I think Richard Basart's the only guy I've met from that show. But not Richard.
Yeah.
Basart, but,
I never met
David
Richard Basehart. I met David Hedison at Chiller Theater one time.
Yeah, you might have been in the
And,
same Chiller Theater that I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Was he next to Jonathan Jonathan Harris? Was he next to that? Next to him? Because it was Frank Gorshin, Jonathan Harris, and David Hedison. They were all sitting at the same.
I think so.
Yeah.
I remember asking somebody about June Lockhart because June Lockhart said something on the show in the Hungry Sea.
Yeah.
The Hungry Sea episode where they kept throwing buckets of water into the chariot.
Yeah.
And she said, "Who do I have to F, to get off of the show?" And I asked Mark Goddard because he was at.
Yeah, he was the other one there too.
Chiller. Yeah, that Chiller. And then I asked him, and he goes, "Yeah, she said that." And I was like, okay. I just want to make sure.
She said a lot of things apparently on that. She's still alive too, which is yeah. But yeah, she's something else from what I understand. So, but, yeah.
That was Lassie's mom. Come on.
Yeah. Exactly. But that was so funny at that Chiller because Frank Gorshin and Jonathan Harris kept telling each other like the most obscene, dirty jokes. Another. That was the other thing I remember. I remember listening to those jokes. I was like, "Holy shit!" So, it was making me blush. I was just like, but it was great to actually meet those people. It's like surreal. When you're actually there. It's fortunately a lot of them have passed away. So
Deanna Lund from Land of the Giants. Barbara Steele.
Barbara Steele. I was too
Barbara
afraid.
Steele. Oh my God.
I stayed away from her. I'm still too scared. I saw her from across the room. I was like, I looked across and said, she was and always was. She's a beautiful woman, but she was and always will look like a witch, And I just something about women like that.
My friend Mike was with me, and he goes, "Did they just dig her up and put her at the table?" I was like,
yeah.
Really bad.
Yeah.
She was like really really old.
Yeah. But definitely scary.
The one person who actually I was part of a Star Fleet club.
Yeah.
And
is that the one that back like in the 70s? Was that the one you're talking about? Was that the Trading Post? Or no, that was that was because Doug Drexler. He had. I don't know if that was part of it.
I was part of a Starfleet, club in New Jersey, and I was in uniform. I had on like a DS9 uniform on, and we were doing security for the show. So we were just like we were like security bumpkins.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and Carolyn Monroe, Monroe,
yeah,
comes up to me and says, You're the only person here who can wear that uniform.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a high
Thank
compliment.
you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
yeah.
much. Because
Yeah,
everybody else is.
Yeah, I know. It's
They,
like, yeah,
let's put it this way: they had excess shielding, maybe
Yeah.
a couple of photon torpedoes, you know. And
yeah,
they're trying to add a little bit of extra flair to it.
yeah. Flair, exactly. Oh goodness.
spandex only,
Yeah. Oh,
goes so far.
that was my biggest complaint with Next Generation when they came out, and it was like all that spandex, man. I was just like, I never liked spandex. I've always hated spandex. It's like you got to be like, rock hard body to wear that crap, and very few people can do that and pull it off. It was driving me nuts because you'd be watching the show, and every like 5 seconds they're
gone.
pulling
Yeah, they're
down. It's like,
Pull it down.
what is it with this? It's like, okay, enough already with these stupid outfits. It's just
and I'm thinking to myself, it's like you're in Starfleet, man. They don't have a uniform that fits you right. I mean, like I get, like I mean,
23rd century, 24th century, whatever it is. It's like,
I mean,
yeah,
you're in the 23rd, 24th century. I mean,
yeah.
you literally could tell a replicator to make you tea, make you something to eat, and you're telling me that that there's not a tailor. You're telling me that the whole profession of a seamstress or a tailor, you mean to tell me that that's not a thing anymore?
Well, guys, I pick up my son, so I got to drop.
Okay.
Actually, that's at the
anyway, so.
end of the show. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I forgot to reset the show at 2:30. I'm very sorry about that, and so
another potpourri episode. Whatever
Just
comes to mind. So
just gotta win everywhere.
Fine, we just run with it. So.
Yeah, for sure.
So this has been Model Citizen. We have been talking about models and
stuff.
So just models and
with yellow sweaters underwater, attacking large submarines, and 3D stuff, and so this has been Model Citizen on GCPR, Ghost Log Productions Radio, and we will see you hopefully next week. Hopefully we will have somebody on, maybe James again. We can talk. Maybe Mike Scott. Who knows?
Yeah. I'll reach out to Mike, see what his schedule looks like, or maybe we can get. He's got lots of options here. Lots of people we could bring on.
Yeah.
If they're not too timid, so some of the sometimes with these nerds, they're a little timid,
Maybe we can coax them out of their shells.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Can come out,
maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll try. We can, if not, we can bribe them. Money works. So
It's
with $5, we can bribe.
So we got $5.
Yeah.
Said, look, we got $5 whole dollars.
Worth of resin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Said we said we got $5. We could pitch in for a bottle of resin for you.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right. Take care.
All right.
everyone.
Take care.
And have a
Hopefully
good
see you
evening.
next week.
All right.
Okay.
Next
Have a
week.
good one.
Thank you very much. My wife got into the thing. She's yeah, I gotta get this. Okay.